guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you guys how to bake and contour your face and also highlight, just like you see the girls on Instagram and Twitter doing, how they get that flawless finished face. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's super easy, and if you want to learn how to contour, bake, and highlight your face to perfection, please keep watching. So the first thing we're going to apply is concealer. So this is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in light medium. When choosing your shade color, I would choose a color about 2 to 3 shades lighter than your actual foundation, because what this is going to do is not only just going to cover your dark circles, it's going to enhance the areas that you want enhanced. So it's very important. If you ever need help, you could probably ask a representative that's working at the store, so at Sephora or Ulta, and they'll be glad to help you. But yeah, this is the shade I am in, light medium. So I actually take the wand and I do kind of like a triangle right under my eye. So that's that. It's not a perfect triangle, just like that. And then I will repeat the same process on the other eye. And then you want to think about the other places that you personally would like to enhance. So I usually pick my chin and a little bit on my forehead. Some people like to do a line down the nose, but I realize with Tarte Shape Tape on me personally, it doesn't look really cute on my nose. It kind of like cakes up and it doesn't work very well. Another tip I have for you is when you're rinsing your beauty blender, use warm water, because this will act as your fingers, so it will kind of create an airbrush finish. And then if you want to clean up your eyeshadow a little bit, you would just drag that right along in the straight line, of course. And just work that in. And you could just see how lifted that area really looks on me. It's just going to make it pop and come forward in your face. You also want to make sure you're dragging your concealer all the way to your waterline as well as your tear ducts, because if you have that and you don't blend into that, it kind of looks off, like your color doesn't match. So you want to make sure you're definitely getting in those areas. I also will get red down here, so I will bring foundation and concealer into those spots as well. And then I will drag, like I said, the remaining down my nose and bring it right on the sides. So I think I'm okay as far as concealer goes. I did put it in the areas I wanted highlighted, like I showed you. So next I'm going to go in with my RCMA No Color Translucent Powder. I love this powder. I feel like it just smooths out my under eye really, really soft, makes it look like a very natural finish without being too dry. And then it also doesn't cake up on me. So I really love that about it. It also doesn't leave a white cast in photos or videos, so that's a plus as well. So now what I do is I apply it to my damp beauty blender, and then when you go under your eye, you're literally just going to place that right under there, and you're going to put a lot, so you can see like a really lot of that powder, and just cake it on there, and you're going to let it bake. So I found out the other day the reason why they call it baking actually is because what happens is your foundation and then the powder pressed again kind of traps that concealer in between your skin, so your skin basically can't breathe, and then it kind of bakes to your temperature of your body. So I think that's really a cool fact about it. And then I do my T-zone, my whole T-zone area, because those are the places I get the most oily. And I will also do a little bit on my nose. I won't go as heavy as you see the under eye area. And the reason why I don't do that is because my nose will get very cakey very fast no matter what I use. So I do not put a lot of that powder, and I will immediately wipe it away. I'll also do my smile lines. So now you're all done. Just kidding. So now I'm actually going to go in with my MAC Studio Fix powder in NC43. I love this powder to brush away and set the rest of my face. It's very important to set the rest of your face because when we go into the contouring part of this tutorial, you're going to need like a smooth basis to kind of buff that out, and then this will really help with that. So I'm just going to take some on my Real Techniques powder brush, tap off the excess, and then I will blend this into my skin. I will also rub away that powder that we set on the chin with this powder. And then I will take it off my nose. And then I will go on my forehead and do the same thing with the top. Another tip I have for you is you can see on this side the powder has set, and then this side is kind of settling into my skin and kind of baking like I said. You do not want to add more powder to either side because what will happen is it will make it too much and then it will create your face like getting like that kind of like breakage and powdered up look, which is a cakey face. So you don't obviously want that. So that's my tip to you. Usually I'll start from scratch, so like I said, I will next, after I set my whole face, will go in and do my eyes, but since my eyes are already done, we are going to move on to our contouring part of the video. For contouring, I actually use the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D. I love this palette. I just think the colors are just so good for my skin tone and for a lot of other skin tones, so I really love it. And the shades that I use, especially during summer, are Shadow Play and Somber. Kind of go in with my MAC 138 brush. This is just an angled brush. I'm going to make sure that it's MAC 138 though, because the numbers are a little rubbed off. And then what I will do is just tap into that lighter shade, and then tap a couple times in the darker, tap off the excess, and then I will contour my face. So I usually start on my forehead. And you're just going to outline the frame of your face. What this is going to do is it's going to create like a slenderness to your face. Now I'm going to go on my jawline right here and I'm going to create a line just like that. And I'm going to bring it up into connecting that top hair line to the bottom of your chin and just drag that down. And I like to go in circular motions along the edges because I don't want it to be visible. Like I said, I want it to look like a natural shadow. And you can kind of see the difference already where this side is not as contoured where this one is. Drag it along. Same thing, lift up, drag down, and just circular motions. My suggestion is to do a straight line just like that and stop kind of where your eyebrow angles, where your eyebrow arches, because that is where your natural contour would really end. So I'm going to dab that, and then I'm just going to create a line very lightly and then kind of buff it in a little more. This line is the most important line to like blend out. You don't want it to be visible whatsoever. You want it to be really just a seamless cut line. And the reason why you don't want to scoop up is because this will create the illusion of a fuller face and your cheeks being bigger than they are. So that's why you want to do a straight cut line, even though it can be harsher. You do want to just keep blending so it's not as harsh, but you don't want to have a fuller face, of course. Unless you want a full face, then you would just scoop. But I do a straight line. And I really like to chisel out my cheekbones, so I will do this step a couple of times till I am satisfied. Sometimes I'll even go back in. The next step is bronzer, and I know a lot of people don't know the difference between contour and bronzer, so I'm going to just really explain it really fast. So contouring is actually the, what's the word? Contouring is the chisel of the face, so it's you making shadows in your face so that you look more slender, and bronzer is actually to make you look warmer in your face and kind of have more of a healthy glow, if that makes sense. So the bronzer I personally use is the Buxom bronzer. I love their bronzers. This is the Hot Escape bronzer in the shade Tahiti. This one just has a very nice natural glow to it. It's very summery, so I really, really love this one. I do use the same brush that I contour with to bronze with. However, sometimes I will go in with my MAC 136 brush and I will bronze up that way. It's a little easier for me. I'm going to go in with my brush, dip it into that bronzer, get a decent amount of product on there, tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to bronze up that face to kind of give a very natural glow. I will do this on my jawline as well. And you could add as much as you want. You could go really in, or you could do a subtle glow. It really depends on what you're feeling for the day and the look. Now that that's done, I'm going to go back with my 183 brush and I'm going to go into that Tahiti bronzer and I'm going to contour my nose. And I really love contouring with this shade on my nose. I know it's really backwards and people are probably going to say, oh, you don't contour with a bronzer. But this bronzer particularly just looks really good on my nose, so I like the way it looks. And I just do 2 parallel lines. I don't do much more than that. I will just bring it down just like so. And then I will kind of cut at the end. But that's about it. And I'll bring it into that eyeshadow as well. Just like that. I'm going to drag some of that Tahiti on my cheekbones as well. Kind of in the same motion that you did your contouring. If you want, you can get a bigger angled brush and kind of sweep it if you really want to be like super bronzed. So sometimes I'll do that, but it's not very often. About my channel soon. So now for blush, the way you want to apply this is basically, you want to apply it the same place you applied your contour. You don't want to put it exactly on your cheek area. If you have bigger cheeks, it's just going to make them look a lot fuller. However, if you want the illusion of a bigger cheek, you can put them right on the apples, and then that will be a good way. However, that's not the illusion I'm going for, so I'm just going to drag it just directly up the same place I applied my contour. I am actually going to be using the Paris palette by Sigma. It was a limited edition palette, so the blush that's in here might not be available, but I'm going to look. I'll link it down below if I do find it, or a similar one by Sigma. I love their brushes. They're so pigmented. They show up beautifully on my skin, so that's why I just wanted to show you this. I wanted it to be able to see it in the video as well, so you can kind of see how intense they are. So this is the palette. I think you could tell which one is my favorite blush. It's actually this middle one. It is called Peach. Just take my Sigma, this is a F40 brush. It's a large angled contour brush. I use it for blush. And I'm just going to dab that in, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to start about right where my like apple forms, so like right about here, and I'm going to take it and then drag it into my hairline. Don't be afraid to put too much, and the reason why I say this is you don't want to look obviously like a clown, but we can buff it out and blend it all together, so that's why it's very important to blend at the end as well. Now that that's all applied, guys, what you're going to do is basically just swoop away all of that powder that we've been baking for a while now. You can bake it really as long as you want. If you think you need it, if you want it to last longer throughout the day, I would tell you to bake it for kind of the whole time you do your face until you're doing your under eye, or you can bake, you know, for 10 minutes and then be done. The reason why I did brush away those other areas before is because I do cake in those areas, so I don't like it to stay longer, whereas my eyes, I know I can get away with it. So now where that blush is really intense, I'm just going to wipe away the excess and kind of blend it in with my powder. And I'll go over my whole face as well, just to ensure that there are no harsh lines. So now going back with my Beauty Blender and that RCMA powder, I'm going to bake under my cheek area. This is going to clean up the bronzer and the blush that we put and create a more defined line so that it doesn't look muddy. You can leave that for as long as you want. I usually just rub it away right away so it doesn't leave too much of a white streak underneath my blush. Now I'm going to go in with my Becca Champagne Pop highlighter. I'm going to apply the highlight in my tear duct, so right there. I just want it to really pop. And this will open up your eyes and brighten them as well. So I just throw a little bit in there. I also like to highlight my nose. So I also forgot to mention I am using a flat shader brush. So I will use the tip of the brush and put a little ball on the tip of my nose because that's where I like to be highlighted. And then I'm going to run a line down my nose. Using the same thing, we're going to highlight our Cupid's bow. This will give the illusion of a fuller lip. Now taking my Royal Langernickel brush, this is a blush brush, but I use it for my cheeks. I don't like to highlight my cheeks that much, only because I think it creates a illusion of a fuller look, and it's kind of bringing attention to that area. And I do have a lot of like texture there, so I don't like to bring much attention to it. But for the purposes of this video, I will put on so you get the idea. So where you're going to apply is right above where you put your blush, and then you could swoop it up here so you have a little bit of a C creating happening. And then this will create the illusion that when you turn your face, you see all the YouTubers and people on Instagram do it, where you turn your face and you see that blinding highlight. If you want a more intense highlight, you can also spray your brush with some Fix Plus or any kind of like priming water you have, anything like that. It will intensify the highlighter and it will be like very blinding, very in your face. But since I'm going to school, I'm just going to do a subtle one. But you can do as intense as you like. I just personally don't like mine there on the tops of my cheeks. It's not my favorite. And kind of the same thing, I will do that circular motion. With my brush to prevent the look of just a line on your face. Now I'm just going to apply the rest of my face and then I will show you guys the final result. Alright you guys, this is the end result. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you, of course, like always. And if you have any questions or anything that you want or have any advice, you could definitely comment that down below. Also, don't forget to like and, of course, subscribe to my channel for videos like this at least 3 times a week. So hopefully you guys have an amazing day. I hope all your back to school is going awesome, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!